The road to the Kentucky Derby heads up to Florence, y'all, and that means a points race at Turfway Park. The John Battaglia, never been a official Kentucky Derby prep. 10 points to the winner, though. And to join me, one of my fellow handicappers up at Turfway, Scott Shapiro. And Scott, as we take a look at the leaderboard, all top four finishers are going to earn their first points in the Battaglia.
Yeah, not too surprising, Ed. A lot of these horses moving up in class in this race, a couple of them coming in for their first start of the year. Then the favorite, the likely favorite, we're recording this before the morning line is out. Gretzky the Great has done his best running on the turf up at in Canada. So not surprising. We'll see if anybody shakes out to be a legitimate Kentucky Derby contender, but it's exciting to have the points race nonetheless up in Florence.
Absolutely. Yeah, certainly some questions to be answered. Brad Cox has one in here in Kinetic Sky. He owns the top two spots on the Derby leaderboard, and we'll see how that shakes out with Essential Quality. Also returning this weekend, Mandaloon, your points leader. And I am on the aforementioned Gretzky the Great, likely 2-year-old champion up in Canada. They haven't done their Sovereign Awards yet, but big class edge based on the class ratings at Bristnet. Obviously, the Summer Stakes sticks out in regards to that class, a Grade 1 winner. Disappointed a bit in the juvenile turf. It's what was he, 7-ish to 1. Certainly going to have to run better than we saw that day, but I do just think the class is going to hold up here.
Yeah, understandable way of attacking the race. Maybe getting a single in these tough Turfway Park sequences for sure would be advantageous. I just have some questions. What he beat up there in Canada, the Summer Stakes was just 7 horses at a mile. The August 23rd Soar Free was a 5-horse race, just won by a neck at 2-1. Now comes back off the long layoff, has not had a race over the synthetic surface up at Turfway, draws the rail, lots of speed signed onto the inside. And as you mentioned, that Breeders' Cup juvenile turf was just extremely underwhelming. Got the perfect stalking trip outside of Outador, and the horses that were prominently placed fared well in that race. Fire at Will won that race, as we know, at a big price. I'm still paying the price for leaving that one out of my horizontals, but just an underwhelming performance. So the class, as you mentioned, but I just wonder if that class carries forward to the start of the 3-year-old season.
And well, you're obviously not a fan, certainly the price, it sounds like. Who did you land on?
Yeah, it's a price thing for sure. I definitely would say likeliest winner if you had to put a gun to head, but I think I'm going to take a chance against them. Went back and forth on a couple of horses. Both Billy Morey charges were interesting to me. Hush of the Storm has the 2-turn success at Turfway, 2 wins in a row there. Pico de Oro is a little bit more class, has the pedigree to go long, but hasn't really done so successfully. Even the 1-mile events have been lackluster. So I landed on number 10, Notable Exception, a wild card here for Jack Sisterston and Calumet Farm. Extremely impressive maiden breaker, Ed, at Arlington Park back in September. Thought enough of him to send him out to the American Pharaoh, won by Getter Number. Wasn't an awesome rendition of that race, but just 22 days rest. Broke poorly. Took a lot of money, though, that day, going off at 5-1. And then an underwhelming effort at Churchill Downs, going a mile and a 16th, but was inside speed that day. I'm hoping the fact that he's been training up to this race in Florida, where a lot of these horses miss some works, and the outside draw will lead to a much better effort first start off the layoff for a Notable Exception.
Yeah, great point about the local horses maybe not being able to train. Do see several shipping in off works. I'm sure that was a part of who they were able to get in the race. But I would think with Gretzky the Great in there, and Wesley Ward has one as well, like the King, who actually has the best last out Bristnet speed rating. So I have to think you'll get the price you would want on Notable Exception. And I'm assuming that means that would be your leaderboard bet if you were eligible for our $150,000 contest.
Yeah, I mean, this would be, again, we're recording this before the morning line came out, so I would land on the best price of one of the 2 Billy Morey trainees. That's Pico de Oro or Hush of Storm or Notable Exception. Those are the 3 horses I'll be using horizontally to try to beat the favorite in this spot, but I'm assuming Notable Exception should be a pretty good price, like you mentioned.
Yeah, I would think so. All right, well, I'm going to chalk out. I'm going to try to take the points in the leaderboard with Gretzky the Great, the favorite, but it is an interesting renewal. 12 will go, assuming only 1 scratches, and looking forward to it Friday night at Turfway Park. Good luck.